So this is nearby, and in this video we will see how we can create VPC flow logs and store the results into AWS S3 bucket. Okay, so the traffic will flow something like from the internet. We will try to access this web server by using its public IP, and as this web server is deployed inside this subnet, and that subnet is inside this VPC, and this VPC has this VPC flow log enabled, so whatever the traffic will get generated, that will get captured via this VPC flow logs, and that traffic will be get stored into this AWS S3 bucket in the form of logs. Okay, so this thing we gonna do. So as you can see on my screen, I will be enabling the VPC flow logs on this VPC. Okay, so inside that VPC I have these three subnets, and into this second subnet only I have deployed this EC2 instance, that is our web server, which is a public facing web server that has this public IP enabled. Okay, but before creating this flow logs at VPC level, I will also like you to know that this flow logs can be enabled at subnet levels also. As you can see on my screen, there is an option at subnet for flow logs. Okay, similarly, if you go inside networking and if you little bit scroll down to an network interface, if I open this in a new tab, if I scroll down, you can see here is also the option to create the flow logs. Okay, so you know that you can enable the flow log at VPC level, also at subnet level, and at ENI level also. Okay, so we're gonna enable this at VPC level. So let us go to VPC, but as per our architecture, these flow logs need to be stored somewhere. So where it need to be stored at S3 into an bucket. Okay, so we need to create that S3 bucket. Okay, so let I quickly create that S3 bucket. So I will be simply searching for this S3, and let I open in a new tab. Okay, so a page like this will get displayed. So I will simply hit on this create bucket, and let I name it as VPC flow log demo bucket 02 or 01, and simply I will click on create bucket. Okay, so now my S3 bucket has been created where we gonna store our logs. Okay, so the next step is we need to create this VPC flow logs. Okay, so let us go and into VPC, into flow logs, click on create flow logs. Okay, so you will be getting a page like this, and firstly it is asking for a name. So let I name it as demo VPC flow, and it is saying filter. So it means like whether you want to filter the traffic that is accepted only, or the traffic that is rejected only, or you want to capture all the traffics. Okay, so I'm currently capturing all the traffics. Second, maximum aggregation interval. So at what interval you want to aggregate the logs, at 10 minutes or at 1 minute. So if you select 10 minutes, so there will be low amount of logs will get generated. Okay, but if you select 1 minute, so the logs will get generated frequently. Okay, so I will be selecting 1 minute so that I can show you as soon as possible. Okay, and it is now saying destination. Okay, so our flow logs can be stored into 3 destinations. So first one is CloudWatch logs, and second is S3 bucket, or the third can be our Amazon Data Firehose. So if you select CloudWatch logs, you can see I need to create a log group and service role, and you need to provide that service role, or you can either create new one. Okay, and again the log format and additional metadata if you want. Okay, but currently we are going to create for S3 only. Okay, so here what it is asking, it is asking the ARN of our S3 bucket. Okay, so from where I can get this? So let I go to our S3, and I will be simply click on our S3 bucket and properties, and here you can find the ARN. So I can simply copy this, and let's again go back, and simply I will paste this. Okay, so now it is saying log record format. Okay, so you can either select this AWS default format, which will include this metadatas. Okay, which will have version, account ID, interface ID, source address, destination address, and various things. Okay, so either you can go with this default option, or you can select this custom one, and you can select whatever the filter or whatever the data you want, account ID, source address, destination, whatever you want. You can see there are many options that are available, so you can select according to your need. Okay, so currently I am proceeding with AWS default format. Okay, now log format I am keeping it as text only. Okay, this thing I am keeping as disable only, and partition log by time. Okay, so here I will be selecting 1 hour, so that partition will get created for every 1 hour, not for 24 hours. Okay, now I can simply hit on this create flow log. Okay, so you can see the VPC flow logs has been created. So if you again go back one step in flow log, you can see a flow logs has been created for our VPC and its destination is our S3 bucket. Okay, so if I click on this, so it will again open that same S3 bucket only. Okay, now you can see it is providing different objects. So currently there is nothing been uploaded. Okay, so let us try to create some logs for this. Okay, so what I am going to do, I will be finding its public IP and let us try to hit it. Okay, so firstly I will be trying to hit it using HTTPS. Okay, and if I show you in security group, I have not allowed this HTTPS port. Only HTTP port is allowed, so it should deny me or reject me. Okay, so let I simply try to hit. Okay, so you can see it is loading and loading because that port is not enabled into our security group. Okay, so let I now remove this S and try to access it over HTTP. So you can see it is now accessible, and if I try to again refresh this page, again it is accessible. Okay, so means first time we are rejected, and second and third time you can say our request is accepted. Okay, so to generate these logs it can take around 5 to 10 minutes also. Okay, so let's wait till it gets generated. After a minute itself, this VPC flow logs has been generated. Okay, so if I go inside this VPC flow logs into our region and year, month and date, and again 18th, and you can see there is a log that is generated into this ZZ file type. Okay, so I can select this and I can simply hit on download. Okay, so let I open this and let I extract this, extract all, extract, and let I open this. So you can see this type of logs has been generated. Okay, so if I try to find my IP, so let I search for what is my IP. Okay, so my IP is this 157.15.251.232. So if I control F, so you can see the first time it is saying it is rejected. Okay, and second time it is showing it is accepted, and third time it is again showing as accepted. So by using this way you can generate and capture the log for your VPC. Okay, to summarize the whole video, we created the S3 bucket, we created the VPC flow logs and pointed toward this S3 bucket, and from the internet we tried to hit this public IP of this web server and we generated traffic. Okay, and that traffic got captured by this VPC flow logs and the logs get stored into this AWS S3 bucket. Okay, and we were able to download and view that logs. Okay, so if you find this video helpful, then please like, subscribe, and if you have any doubts, then feel free to comment in the comment section. Till now, bye bye.